Checkered flags out. P19. That's the end of the session. P19. Checkered. Flags out. P19.
C8R GT, I'm going to get those mixed up, aren't I, over the course of the season. The C8R GT and then the Z06 GT3, which are two entirely different cars, even though they're both based on the Stingray road production car, or what is known as the C8. We also just say hello to Crofty there, who says hello from car 113, and that being in reference, I believe, to Matthew Croft, who we see here in the BMW M4 GT3. We also say hello to Andrew Fellows, to Adam Watson, and also there to Taito.
That's the end of the session. P19.
I imagine there's plenty of you in the chat right now, and if you are there and you haven't said hi, don't be shy, feel free to say hi. Darren and I don't bite in the commentary booth. The only biting you're going to be seeing here over the course of this season will be brakes, particularly, and we haven't really talked about this, have we, Dale? The difference between GT3s and GTEs, and why GTs are a bit of a step up, you could say, in terms of driver skill, because the one difference, as we just find Andre Montine having a bit of an excursion, is these GT machines, minus the change in air and everything, no ABS, and that's going to be something that our drivers will need to get used to.
Yeah, and they're going to have to adapt accordingly, and that's not quite how to do it, off the road and into the gravel. But yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for the drivers to adjust to new machinery. But again, they may feel more at home in these cars than they would in a GT3 or GT2.
The leader has just done a 118.91.
This qualifying session is going to go a long way to showing us that, and the first lap times hopefully will be coming in soon to give us that first indication.
Oh, 100%. And speaking of those first lap times, well, Thomas Pugh for Axis Simsport Ice, I think in fact Fire, makes his way towards the timing line, and well, he was the fastest in the final practice warm-up, if my memory serves me correctly, and well, he goes the initial fastest there of the GT.
The leader's just done a 118.25.
And we'll roin his way around right now. In terms of balance performance, these GT machines are normally pretty close together. However, the one thing that has been observed over the last couple of seasons in the iRacing officials is that for some reason at Laguna Seca, the one car, either BMW M8, which is front engine rear wheel drive, so it's natively going to understeer more than it wants to oversteer, it seems to be very strong at this circuit beyond all other machines, albeit any other cornering circuit it seems to struggle. A bit of an odd one there from iRacing, but so be it. But, well, we say about Thomas Pugh dominating the way, and Sonny Graham Wildman there says, hold on a second, because that Ford GT, well, he puts it up there provisional pole immediately. Some quick times coming in already. But, like you say, Darryl, I think all the drivers here, it's going to be posturing, there could be sandbagging, there could be anything in between. I mean, if you were on the grid with the drivers, would you come into this event thinking to yourself, you know what, I want to lay down a mark.
We've got 4 laps. Let's get this done. validated. Watch the track limits. P16. Okay, mate, take a breath, fire it back up and get back on it. Front left, 97%. Right rear, 99. Delete this lap. You've cut the track.
in the GT3 Championship, but it's a much bigger pool of fish here.
But also this is just the one tier. So we do have a little bit more of a disparity in terms of who we're seeing racing. So we may see a bit of a stretching out in terms of the pace than we would otherwise see. However, these guys still know each other quite well. I think they'll be able to judge where their pace will really lie, particularly off the opening couple of races. But we've still got a lot, I think, to really find out about these drivers and find out about this series in terms of how they're going to race with each other. And of course, as we've touched upon, elements like that lapping, elements like the difficulties that we may see with drivers getting used to a new car. So there's still lots of unanswered questions, but I think the sentiment you were saying was right there, Paul.
Oh, indeed. And speaking of new names for Dean and company to get familiar with, Reece Saunders here, a driver who I've had the pleasure of covering for multiple years in different racing series and iRacing. And tell you one thing, whether he's been with Team Year 1 or Altitude at 3M Esports, he's always been a highly competitive driver. As he comes to line purple in the final subsector, well, he crossed that line. He was 8th. He's going to stay.
The leader has just done a 118.91
out of him until Daytona in 2 weeks' time. So he's one of those drivers, when he gets the bit between his teeth, he doesn't let it go. But like we were saying earlier, so many drivers here right now sounding things out. I think using this as a bit more of a knowledge filling session today in terms of what it's like to be on the same tarmac as a GT3 machine and a GTE from the different perspectives of our drivers. But qualifying is effectively now complete, ladies and gentlemen, as Matthew Croft makes his way to line. He will put in the final lap of this session. What's it going to be from Matthew Croft? I don't think it's going to be an improvement. No, he's going to be staying 12th there for GT3s, but that is the closure of this qualifying session, and we are now only 1.5 minutes away from going to the grid for our pre-season race. And Dara, one other thing that our drivers have to think about, and we were talking about this in the build-up to today's show, is the fact that on iRacing, we've got pit stops in this series, of course. GT3s, they can take fuel and change tyres. GTEs, they have to do it one by one. They have to take the fuel first and then change the tyres, or vice versa. I always forget which way it is, but that makes strategy a little bit different for the GTEs, because you really do have to use your tyres to the maximum possible effect.
You do, and it's going to mean that we're going to see some different strategy options to what we saw in the European GT Championship, which is never a bad thing. Keeps us on our toes up here in the commentary box. It does mean that there's going to have to be some, well, quite a lot of thought process for the drivers in how they go about conducting their strategy, putting together their races, and again, this race is just to kind of get their eye and is to see what that really looks like in comparison to everyone else, see what other people are doing, see how they try and manage your strategy, because this is the best chance to see those kinds of things and to really understand how you're going to try to work your way through the season and, of course, individual races in the best way possible. But far away though, is it?
100%. And looking at overall time and table there,
that's the end of the session. P16.
Ahead of the GT3s by only, I believe, 100,000. Andy Chell, the lowest placed of our GTE drivers, to our pole sitter in the GT3 compared to Lewis de Silva. And well, that's interesting there when you see the green flag race. We'll find out through that grid here for the pre-season event that we're going to take. In fact, I think the grid is here as it comes up on screen. Let Kit take you through it then. And it is Graham Wildmon who takes pole position for the GTEs and overall for Sawyer Boys Racing. He'll be joined on the front rider grid by Thomas Q for Axis Sinsport Lightning, and well, Lightning doesn't strike twice because it's away to his teammate, and then Ewan Slipsbury will line up in third place at the teammate ORA. Alongside him on row number 2 will be Jaden Scotton, the flatline racing extra there, making his mark.
Good look, everybody. I could really use that. Good luck, everyone. Fuel back in.
car number 148. It's a strong grid. We're expecting you to finish in at least P15. This is a rolling start. Follow car number 25 in the right column.
Looks good. Speed is report. Not expecting any change in the conditions.
Leave in your own lane, please.
Okay, get ready. Green, let's go, let's go. Go, go, go. On your right, clear right. The driver in front of us is not the cleanest racer. Clark, car number 88.
So much for not overtaking before the light, eh?
Track temperature is increasing. It's now 34 Celsius. Incident in the corkscrew. Looks like it's pew. Yellow flag. Keep your wits about you, mate. You're in the middle. Right side's clear. Clear all round. There's an incident in turn 6. It looks like Austin. Keep keep searching, you'll find a gap. The leader's just done a 118.40. Car left. Hold your line. He's still clear left. P15. Gap to E14 ahead is increasing. It's now 1.1 seconds. There's an incident in the corkscrew. We think it might be one team.
That was close.
There's a faster car approaching. Incident in the corkscrew. It looks like Clark. The guy in front is James, car number 66, and their rating is 1.2. There's an incident in turn 11. We think it might be James. The guy in front is Matthew, car number 114, and their rating is 2.3, 13th place.